The Atlanta Falcons are going to give a warm welcome to their former coach, Arthur Smith, as he is now the offensive coordinator for the Falcons' first week opponent, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish I had tickets to the game because I'm sure it will be a very loud, welcoming home. And the Steelers fans are looking forward for you guys to get the full Arthur Smith experience here in the 2024 season. We're going to break down the Steelers Falcons week one matchup here. But before I get into that, if you have not already and want to help out the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, leave a like and comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and what the score is going to be. Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here real quick. So obviously, as you can tell, who I'm rooting for in this matchup here. What do you think of both the Steelers and the Falcons coming into this game, but also just in the entire season?
So, looking at the Falcons, they made a lot of improvements this offseason, I think, on the offensive side of the ball, specifically at the quarterback position. Going and getting Kirk Cousins in free agency was probably the biggest move of the offseason, and then also making one of the most unpredictable picks in the draft with Michael Penix Jr. at 8th overall. I think they definitely saw a position that needed to be improved upon and went out and filled it. They didn't really improve at the wide receiver spot, which I think is the hard reality with that pick. But all in all, I think the Falcons did a really good job. Hopefully, this defense too. You have AJ Terrell. Oh shit, who's the safety?
Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates. They
and
got
we just signed Justin Simmons.
Yeah, I was gonna say you also add Justin Simmons to that group, and all in all, I think that this team should be much improved all around. Whereas I don't really know if I can say that for the Steelers. They went and got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and replaced Kenny Pickett, and I don't want. It could be a downgrade. It could be a lateral move. I don't know if it will really be an improvement, especially with how those two have seemed to be playing throughout the preseason. They lost Deontay Johnson on the offensive side of the ball. They did improve the offensive line through the draft, getting Troy Fatanu and then Zach Frazier as well. So all in all, like I think that they have an identity of being a running team to potentially find, but especially early on in the season, I'm very curious to see what the Steelers are able to put on the field. On defense, they have TJ Watt, and outside of him, I'm not really sure of what else they're really going to be like bringing to the table. They're primarily zone defense. That Joey Porter Jr. Had an okay rookie season. That Minkah Fitzpatrick is a good safety, but he's getting old. So, I have a very large list of concerns, I think, with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think there's a little more of that Steelers defense than you're giving them credit, even though maybe part of it is because TJ Watt's so freaking good. So that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. There's a lot of fun matchups to watch that we'll be breaking down here in a second. But let's quickly take a look and see what the betting markets are saying about this game as of the recording of this video. So according to BetUS, as of right now, Falcons are 3-point favorites with the over-under at 42. I will say with an Arthur Smith offense, probably put that on the under right there. But also, too, just on top of that, kind of carry on a little bit of what you were saying there is I think the under is going to make more sense here as well. For Falcons team, the first string did not really play at all in the preseason. Really trying to figure out their depth because that's going to be, I think, the Falcons' biggest concern right now is if anybody gets injured, it's just going to be like, we're screwed. So I think it's going to be very defensive heavy focus, but also to go look at some of the guys, as you already mentioned there on the Pittsburgh side as well. TJ Watt's already going to be a handful, but I'll defend
Alex Highsmith is he's another good edge rusher.
Alex Highsmith, you still have Cameron Hayward, who's a double sack guy when he's played full seasons. They brought on Patrick Queen as well, and I think Joey Porter Jr. coming into second year. You still have Minkah Fitzpatrick as that free safety. I think there are still pieces outside of just TJ Watt that are good, and they become really good you factor in TJ Watt and his overall effectiveness. So that's going to be a fun matchup overall. It's just how does Falcons offensive line, and TJ Watt's probably going to be lining up against right tackle Caleb McGarry. As Falcons fans, we are not excited about that at all. Probably going to have some help on that side as well. But then I will say how the Falcons also then kind of, as you alluded to earlier, so they have Drake London, they have Kyle Pitts as their other pass catcher. Bijan Robinson is obviously going to be a stud. But outside of that, though, and you have Tyler Algier, I'm not trying to exclude him. But outside of that, though, who's going to be that next guy. They do have Darnell Mooney, but they did lose Rondell Moore in the ACL injury, unfortunately. So Ray McLeod is currently set up right now as the third receiver, the slot receiver. Casey Washington had a good preseason, the 6th-round pick. And so maybe with Kirk Cousins kind of there and like in his overall speedy and shiftiness, maybe he'll get more of a role as the season goes on. Because I do think that this Steelers secondary has improved and not something that we should just slouch over on. On the flip side of the ball, though, matchup I'm really looking forward to watch, I will say. Well, there's two. Grady Jarrett versus rookie Zach Frazier. And then George Pickens versus A.J. Terrell, who A.J. Terrell just got a nice contract signing. A.J., you're welcome on the show anytime, free of charge, please. But look, that's going to be a phenomenal matchup here because just overall, as much as George Pickens can be arrogant, I'll say, you got to respect his overall talent. I mean, he's got a lot of talent there, and I think A.J. Terrell is one of the more underrated cornerbacks in the league. So I think how that matchup is going to play is going to be it play out is going to be something to watch. But on the flip side, though, they do have Pat Freiermuth. They're going to have similar two-headed monster, not as explosive as the backfield as the Falcons, but still Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, who both guys. I think Najee Harris is the first Steelers running back to have 3 1,000-yard seasons in a row.
I don't know.
In his first 3 seasons, sorry. So there's been a lot of great Steelers running backs. But on the flip side, though, as I mentioned, don't really have anybody else outside. You have Van Jefferson, who's a former Falcon, the Smith guy. You got Scotty Miller and Cordell Patterson as well. So maybe there'll be a couple of plays from them. But I'm going to be very curious overall just on how the Steelers can manufacture yards down the field because I don't think they really have too much else outside of that. And with Arthur Smith calling the plays, I think I can speak for all Falcons fans, warning you Steelers fans as well, even after this game, is have fun this season. Hang on to your hats because you're going to be throwing them at the wall wondering what the hell did you just see. And I think I can speak for all Falcons fans that we really – really want this defense to just shut down your Steelers offense as well. So I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I think high emotion with everything. I don't try and look into the tabloids too much, but seeing from some of this, what I've seen, I think locker room was pretty mixed on Arthur Smith as a whole leaving. And so maybe some guys on offense maybe kind of respected what he was trying to do, or I would say offense, but just some guys respecting what he's trying to do. Some guys were like, dude, we're not winning games, and you're making Johnny Smith throw passes to Nicole Pruitt. What the heck are we doing? So I think this is going to be just a giant grudge match, and I think the Falcons are going to come out on top. I'm biased on that. But I think if you just go look at the overall, I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. Both are going to be learning a new system. I think there are more weapons overall, more explosive weapons on the Falcons side. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be a huge X factor in this game because he hasn't really had a quarterback to throw to since his rookie year with Matt Ryan. And Kirk Cousins is going to fit that mold even more. And then you have Bijan, Tyler Algier, I think is a superior matchup by far compared to Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. I think the offensive line is going to be a little bit better. But that being said, though, to your point, though, Zach Frazier and Troy Fautanu, two good rookie offensive linemen that were drafted. How are they going to do in their first matchup? Yeah. And I actually haven't even talked about Matt Judon. I'm hoping that Matt Judon makes it a horrible experience for Troy Fautanu in his first NFL game.
Yeah, and that's my thing is like I understand that the Steelers have some young talent. To me, George Pickens is a big play threat, and that's like you see a lot of his production, and a lot of it comes off of big plays. And I get he runs some intermediate routes, but and part of that too was just the Steelers' offense was stagnant, and so I am curious to see maybe with a more, I don't want to say more consistent because I feel like it's a pretty similar level of quarterback to Kenny Pickett as to Russell Wilson now, but I just think the Falcons are more talented. They have that three-headed monster: Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. I think Kirk Cousins, even just like his command of the huddle and like getting the Falcons to the line of scrimmage, getting them in the right play and seeing like what the defense is doing and kind of utilizing the talent and putting them all in the right position to succeed. I just have so much more faith in the Falcons to make those plays than I do the Steelers. and that's why I'm going with the Falcons.
Well,
I think this is going to be a turnover season for the Steelers.
Yeah, and one final point too, when it comes, because the biggest threat to me, in my opinion, is going to be just George Pickens, and you're still going to have Jesse Bates kind of roaming over top, and I think that's going to kind of, with AJ Terrell matching up against him. I think I have Jesse Bates, the free safety back there. I think it's going to kind of mitigate some of that deep threat capabilities. Because I just don't, knock on wood, I do say, I don't think that they're going to have as many opportunities for that. And then outside of that, though, I mean, I'll take Van Jefferson all day. I mean, like make Van Jefferson have to try and beat us, please.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. I know all of Atlanta really wants to win this one.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win in the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Atlanta Falcons matchup in Week 1. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.